What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday. You know what that means. It's time for another Actors Grind Mindset Monday. I hope y'all took the time this weekend. I certainly did. I needed to regroup, recharge, self-care all over the place. So I hope you all did the same and are ready for an amazing week, because I really feel like, and I know I say this a lot, but so far it's been true. This is going to be an amazing week. It's going to be filled with auditions and opportunities and new learning opportunities and experiences, and I'm just really jazzed. I'm excited. So for this Mindset Monday, I want to talk about, I don't have a drum roll, so you guys just hear it in your head, getting out of your own way. Oh, we all do it at one time or another in our careers, maybe several times. It took me a while to learn it. Sometimes I slide back, but we stand in our own way. We sabotage ourselves. And of course, it's not intentional, but we do it. And the way we do it is when we get an audition, and stop me if you've heard this one. We get an audition and we read it and we see what the description is. And then we start to think, well, this isn't me. This doesn't sound anything like me. It says bombshell. I'm not a bombshell. Or it says, nun. I'm not a nun. I don't read as a nun. And we immediately, at that point, start judging the character. Then we start judging ourselves as the character. Then it's like this slippery slope and this gigantic snowball that happens, where then we don't take the time to go over it. Then we procrastinate and we leave it for a while, and then we'll come back to it. We might think about it, we might not. But because we don't think it's us, we're not spending the time to prepare like we should. And then what happens? Then it's time for the audition. Then we don't do as well in the audition. And then we start beating ourselves up because we didn't do well in the audition. But how can we do well in the audition if we didn't take the time to prepare? And we didn't take the time to prepare, and this is true, because we were judging the character, judging how we feel about ourselves as the character. And then we just decided, it's fine. And we didn't do it. But at the end of that process, or lack thereof, we've sabotaged ourselves. And we feel that. I know I do. I do when I do something like that, when I did before, and sometimes, like I said, I backslide, it feels icky. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And now I'm thinking about it, and it takes over, and it starts to turn this wheel, and this, I'm going to do this. It's like a jack in the box, and we start turning the crank of all the negative thoughts and all the negative things and all the stuff we should have done that we couldn't do, that we didn't do, and we had time, but then it all got away from us. And then pop, out comes that jack, and we just think, man, what a wasted opportunity. It's hard to get back up and move forward when we do that. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, right? It can be a very vicious cycle. So I'm going to give you some tips on how not to do that. Okay, you ready? First tip, don't judge the character. Don't judge what you think the character is, what you think the casting director is looking for. That's your number one mistake. That's the first mistake, because, and this is true, you were invited to audition. They saw what your headshot looked like. They saw your resume. This may be a casting director that knows you and has had you in a few times, but they still sent you this invitation to audition. So you've been invited to audition. Boom, hard work's over. They already know what you look like. So then you can, number two, give them your version of that character, because you're enough, right? I say it all the time. I hope you start to believe it, but you are enough. Deposit yourself into that character, do the work, and give them your version. And if they don't want your version, and I've said this before, then they don't want you, but you've done your job and you had a great time doing it, right? And at the end of it, you can say, they invited me, this was mine, I did my job, I created this amazing audition my way, I sent it out, and that's it. Now we can move forward. We don't have any regrets. We don't have to worry about it. And I'll give you a quick example. So this was a few years ago, auditioned to be a nun. And when I auditioned to be a nun, I was, I think, 20 something at the time. Now, when people traditionally think of a nun, they probably wouldn't think of a 20-something young, Black woman as a nun. People think a nun is like, probably an older woman, possibly Caucasian or Latino or something like that. You know what you see on TV, and then you start thinking, well, this isn't me. Why would they send this to me? And then you don't work on it. I decided, you know what? This is going to be fun. Let me give them my version of a nun. So I went in, I saw some of the headshots, and it was the traditional, what people would think of as a nun. We're all out there. And then I gave them my version of this nun. And I booked it. So, I mean, you guys, I know we want to overanalyze and think about what it should be and what it could be and all of this stuff. And it's counterproductive. It doesn't matter. Give them your version. If they gave you the audition, if they invited you to work on this audition, then do your absolute best. Give them your version. You have no idea what's going to happen. A lot of the times they don't know what they're looking for. And you could be showing them something new, something they never thought of. And then they're like, oh, yes, this works. And sometimes it works. But if it doesn't, they saw you give 100%, give them your take on this character, and that's that. They got to see you live that life, and they're welcome. So please, I say all of that to say this. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. It was weird. It felt weird the first time, so I had to say it again. Don't sabotage yourself. Give yourself the love, the care, the respect, and the grace to do your very best at every job you get. Your job being auditioning, interviewing, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it is. So give yourself the chance. Don't take yourself out of it. If you decide it's not you and this isn't me, why would they send this to me? You might as well not even do the audition. You're not going to do your best. You're certainly not going to feel good afterward. You're going to beat yourself up and you're going to continue on that cycle. So give yourself a break. Give yourself some love. A couple pats, boop, boop. A couple pep talks. Call me if you need me, when you need me. And do your absolute best. Then again, on to the next one. Right? Okay, that's all I had. It wasn't very long, but I felt like it needed to be said. I hope you guys took this. It spoke to you. If it did, please pass it on to someone you think it would help. And, like I said, drop me a comment, send me a DM. Please subscribe to the Actors Grind YouTube channel. And I'll see you guys next week. But in the meantime, and in between time, always know you are enough. See you guys later.